Good evening.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Hello,
How you doing, Annie? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there.
Well, good for you.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep,
good.
hear you fine.
Because I can't change the volume on my keyboard because all of a sudden I have no Bluetooth. It won't turn on.
Ah.
And I don't know why.
You broke it.
I wasn't even using it. It was working fine when I was doing stuff before dinner. I went upstairs, I fed the dogs, I fed us, I came back down, and now the Bluetooth isn't on.
Ah.
So I have no keyboard and I have, my only mouse is this one that I dragged out of the closet
Huh.
with a cord.
Beth, are you doing a presentation tonight?
Yeah,
That won't impact you then?
it shouldn't. It's just, I'm gonna, switching from slide to slide, it's a short slide thing. The rest of it is video, which that should work fine, I hope.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Margie will not be joining us tonight.
What happened to Margie?
She's a little under the weather.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Marty.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. Things went good today.
Well, that's good.
Just had to listen to a bunch of lies. Tell you about that later.
Okay. I'll be up until 2.
Um,
Hey, while we're kind of waiting, I have just a quick question here. I saw in the newsletter that there was a page about a reminder to pay our dues. And the first thing that came up, well, is if I want to write a check, where would I send it? Or if I wanted to pay online, can we do that? And if so, where? Anybody know the answer to those questions?
Yes, I do. If you want to
Okay.
write a check, send it to me, made out to the WPS. If you want to pay online, if you go to wps.photography, and on the front page it says join here, you can go there and pay your dues.
Don't we
Okay,
have,
thanks, Brian.
don't we have a link on Reddit too?
Yeah, there's a link on Reddit as well. But like I said, just wps.photography will take you right there. The link on Reddit takes you to the photography to the wps.photography.
No.
I have a question. The meetings are being recorded and it says that you should be able to access them from Reddit. Is that correct?
You can access them from our YouTube channel, actually. The ones that I get posted and remember to post or have time to post. I'm going to work better at that this year. That's one of my New Year's goals, is to get all of the meetings posted. So yes, they're on our YouTube station, our YouTube channel.
Okay.
There's a link from the Reddit page to the YouTube channel, and all the meetings this year should be recorded, as long as we don't have any issues with recording or stuff like that. But for the most part, they'll be up.
I think I need to get a little more familiar with navigating Reddit because I wasn't able to find it, but I'll have to take some time and look at it.
It's on the right-hand side of the screen. If you're on a computer, there'll be links about, as you start down the page, you'll see links on the right-hand side for newsletter and to pay your dues, and a link to the YouTube channel as well.
I think I've just been trying it for my iPad. I didn't go to the desktop, so maybe I'll look at the desktop.
Yeah, when you look on an iPad or a phone, you have to go under the menu to find those links.
Okay.
But on a desktop, they'll be on the right-hand side of the screen. Well, it looks like we've probably got about everybody we're going to get. We might get, I know Rex is going to come. He has another meeting. He'll be with us here in a little while. So I guess we can get started. I don't have a whole lot as far as business goes. First order of business is we do need someone to head up the galleries and shows. If there's anybody that's interested in that position, we'd appreciate it. We could definitely use some help there. Everyone else, Danny was doing it last year. She's going to be a little bit busier this year. She won't have time to do it. Jim had originally volunteered, but he has some other stuff that he's doing. So he's decided that will not be the best thing for him to do, which is fine with us. So let's find someone, if anyone is interested in volunteering to help out with galleries and shows and that kind of stuff and keeping them in order and making phone calls and stuff like that. Feel free to let me know or any one of the officers, and we'll get you hooked up and in that position. So volunteers needed, greatly appreciated. And that's all I have on that. Other things, the only other thing I want to do is just kind of give you guys a heads up on what's coming up over the next 2 months, or this month and next month, I should say. January, our January SWIG meeting, we're going to be talking about the new masking tool in Lightroom. I don't know if any of you have messed around a little bit with that. I upgraded my Lightroom a week or so ago and fooled around with just a wee little bit with that, and it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about diving into that and having you guys a nice presentation for the SWIG meeting at the end of the month, which is a short few weeks away from now already. January 22nd, we have a walk up at Lynn Run. We do that we usually do a January walk looking for snow and ice. So Lynn Run's a good chance that we'll find, if there is any snow and ice. If not, then we'll find whatever else we can find. But hopefully we can find some snow and ice for that walk. February 8th is our WPS meeting, and it's we're going to spotlight famous photographers. And I believe Rob is doing that. Is that right, Rob?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you are, Rob. Based on his last presentation, I'm sure this one's going to be really good. So we're excited about
it. Please don't overset the expectations.
And then February 20, our SWIG meeting in February, we're going to be talking about custom Photoshop brushes and textures, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to that too. It's been a long time since I messed with any brushes and textures on Photoshop, so I'm looking forward to that. And I believe Margie is dealing with the majority of that, and I may actually be doing part of that too. And I don't remember. I have to look at my schedule. Or no,
I think I was going to do textures.
What's that?
I think I was going to do textures, but mine's not going to be Photoshop exclusive.
Right. Okay, good. Then I'm not involved with that. That's even better for me.
What's the date on that, Brian?
That's our February SWIG meeting. So the last Thursday of the month. I don't know what that is offhand.
24th.
Okay. That, I believe you looked at the calendar. I trust you.
That's also Flag Day in Mexico for anybody that's concerned.
Okay. And then February 27th, we will be having a walk to the Heinz History Center in Pittsburgh. So if y'all have not been there, it's a pretty cool place to go and walk and take some pictures. It's inside, so hopefully if it's cold, we'll at least be inside. If it's not real cold, once we're done with the Heinz History Center, we can maybe take a walk up through the Strip District. That's very close. So that'll be weather dependent, of course, that part. So anyhow, that's a couple things we got coming up. Jim, I know we have a show coming up that you've been kind of heading up. Do you want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. In both the monthly newsletter and in the Sunday update, there's just preliminary information on what you need to do to get images ready for the show, which will be in May at the Westmoreland Museum of Art. We'll put out an official prospectus sometime within the next week or so with additional details. But if you want to get started in selecting images to submit for the show, then I would suggest, in the case of the Sunday update, there's a link to it. And in the newsletter, it's inside the newsletter somewhere or another. I know I saw it there.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Jim, just a question on the museum show. Do they allow, let's say, entries of, let's say, fairs and so forth? Because I
Yes.
see, like, for example, the Ice Festival in Ligonier or any
Yes.
of those events. They do?
Yeah, anything, yes.
Okay, good.
Now, Bob, and I actually gave that a little bit of thought. If you've read that, that introductory information on selecting images, there's not a category that looks specifically like it addresses that.
Right.
I suspect if you're doing a festival, there's going to be people.
Right.
And therefore, my recommendation would be to put it in the people category.
Okay, and it's one entry per subject.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to bring up as far as business goes? No?
Jim, I have a question about the show too. I'm Susan. I just joined.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Hi. I do the non-silver process cyanotype, and I put it on fabric. Is fabric accepted?
As long as you can mount it on something that can use a wire a hanger on the back of it, the answer would be yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's no limit as far as the medium itself, as long as it could be hung with a wire hanger.
Okay, thank you.
And welcome, Susan.
Thanks.
I seen your, I think I sent you out a welcome email the other day.
Yes, thank you.
And so, okay, I'm glad you got that. And I noticed that you had opened the email tonight. So I'm glad that you're here this evening and have joined us. Well, do you want to say anything about what you do and who you are or anything like that, or kind of introduce yourself? Or you don't have to, but.
I was a member of the Laurel Highlands group that we kind of disbanded because of, I guess, lack of participation and leadership. So I'm from the Laurel Highlands. I live near Seven Springs, near the Barronville Covered Bridge. Those of you that do covered bridge photos. And I teach clay classes at Laurel Arts. I'm a retired art teacher. Laurel Highlands School District in Uniontown. And I put photos, I do the cyanotype process. I put photos on fabric. the only question that I kind of have for Jim also, sometimes I stuff them and tone them and dye them. I don't know if there's any restrictions on surfaces as far as the surface of the photograph goes. So anyway, yeah, I'm still in the dark.
Okay.
Well, I'd love to answer your last question, but I'm not sure I understood it. Try me one more time.
Sometimes I stuff the photographs, like I'm looking at you now and the mountains in the background. I could put batting in those mountains and then stitch around you. Put,
Like Trapunto?
yes. And sometimes I dye with either crayon or tone the photographs. I mean, cyanotypes, you can use tannic acid and a couple things to, instead of having the blueprint blue, they lean toward the purples and the browns. And then so I have embroidered the photographs. So I do sometimes surface treatments to the photograph.
So you're talking about making some of your photos more 3D.
Some of them are 3D, and I have quilts and wall hangings along with framed pieces. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I learned years and years ago that if you don't think you might like the answer, don't ask it. Just do what you think you need to do.
Okay.
So in all seriousness, I don't know the answer to your questions from the museum's perspective, and I'm hesitant to ask them specifically that question. My response to you would be this: as long as the base image meets the requirements that are in that document that's available online now, I think you're good to go.
Okay, thanks.
You're doing your own, what I'll call photo processing, just like we all are going to be post-processing our photos. Yours is just a little bit more involved than maybe the rest of us.
Oh, no, it's not necessarily. Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right. Well, welcome, Susan. Glad to have you. Sorry about the other club. I actually was a member of that club for several years as well. So I was sorry to hear that they were, as you say, disbanding. But hopefully we'll pick up a few members from there.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any other new business. If anyone has any questions or anything they want to bring up, now's the time. Otherwise, I am going to turn the meeting over to, I believe, Beth.
Mm-hmm.
She looks
And
excited.
Susan, you're probably going to be either bored or laughing at me because this is mostly on cyanotypes.
Oh, cool. Yay.
I'm the resident, like, I'll shoot with anything person, and I still use film and do all sorts of other things. So
You're my girl.
Hey guys,
we'll have to get together.
Long.
What was that, Brian?
I said we're going to be outnumbered before long.
All right. Hopefully all of this works because I don't have a keyboard. So this is going to be interesting.
You don't have a keyboard? Okay.
Let's see, where's Keynote? And I have a really, really bad mouse. Okay. It worked. Yay. I only have like 8 slides and then there's a video. But there's a lot of UV sensitive processes that these are the things they came up with before anybody really came up with film, because they hadn't really made a good emulsion using silver that would stay around for a long time, and figuring out the chemicals for making it last and getting good detail and stuff like that took a while. But back in the 1800s, they did come up with Cyanotypes, Van Dyke Brown, Calotypes, salt prints, albumin, which yes, they used egg. The cyanotypes have been around since 1841, which, I mean, we're 20 years away from 200 years of cyanotypes, which is pretty cool. But the UV reduces the iron salts to a ferrous state so that once you add the water to oxidize them, that turns them blue, which is pretty cool color, in my opinion. And the water will wash away all of the unused iron salts. So you end up with blue and white. Van Dyke Browns use basically the same kind of idea, except that you end up with brown. And that adds silver nitrate, and it was kind of part of the precursors for figuring out the chemistry of making emulsions. Calotypes I've never done. They look a little bit like Van Dyke Brown, but they're a little bit more picky on developing them and coating the paper. It's not quite as simple as the others because it doesn't use just water to oxidize. You can also get slightly different colors. Salt prints were the first ones that anybody did, and it's really just sodium chloride, silver nitrate, and in water coating. But I've never done them, so I don't know if they're really easier than cyanotypes or not, but I don't think that they last as well, but I'm not really sure. They're also not quite as easy to do. And then since a lot of people who used to use darkrooms and don't anymore end up with all the leftover paper, people have figured out ways to use it. So you can take really old silver gelatin paper that's not going to work in a darkroom anymore and put it out in the sun with stuff on it, negatives on it, with whatever else, and then you get an image once you let it sit for long enough in the sun. Even though you wouldn't get a really good print if you tried to use it in the darkroom at that point. And if you use freshly picked plants and smush them down with glass, then you get some condensation. So you get little bubbles on it, and those show up in the final result. If you want, you can fix them using regular photo fixer. But if you just rinse them and then take pictures, you've got the image. The original print will eventually fade back to black, basically, eventually. But it does take a while. To make the negatives, you can print on transparency film using an inkjet. Supposedly pigment-based inks are better than dye-based, but I have a really cruddy dye-based ink printer and it works okay. I get stripes because it's always running out of ink, even when I just put brand new cartridges in. And there's like the way that it runs it through, it's really intended just for documents. So it's just not great for images anyway. So when you make a negative in Photoshop or where else, keep in mind that the color on the paper is going to be present where the light hits the paper. So you can make a cyanotype using a positive on a transparency. It doesn't have to be a negative image, but you can try both and see which you like. And I will put these links on Reddit once I have a keyboard again and can copy and paste, because I'm not sure how to copy and paste without using my keyboard. But these are just alternativephotography.com has got so many ideas of different things to do. And the last link on here is someone who does cyanotypes when it's still wet. And I know Candy has played with that some, and she's gotten some really cool results that she's posted on Instagram. Because yes, I'm sorry, Candy, but this is going to be the same video that you saw before.
You can always learn.
And I'm going to apologize in advance. I didn't realize when I first made this that the water running in the darkroom comes through really well on this. And so you're going to have to listen to the water running occasionally. Oh, that was not the right button. Hey. Stupid mouse.
Hi. The first process I'm going to show is actually going to be kind of an experiment even for me because I've never tried it this way. But I'm using an old piece of photo paper that it's too old to use to actually print good photos on at this point, but it's still good for lumen processing. And this is a contact printing frame that I have, but you can just use a piece of empty frame glass and a tray. You just want the glass on top to flatten things down. I'm doing it this way just because I have it and it's easy. I have printed an image in black and white on a piece of transparency film. And this is just, I don't know, 3M or something. It's not any of the really high-tech ones that are out there. And I'm going to put that in first because that's the side that's going to be facing the sun. And then this is my old photo paper. And it's so old, in fact, that it's Kodak. And they haven't been making darkroom photo paper in close to 20 years, I think. And what this lets me do is I can, once I have it all fastened down, I can just undo one side and lift that side up just to see how it's printing without moving the whole thing, because that side will still be fastened down with this. I don't usually use that feature, but it's doable. So we have it in there. And the next thing that I'll do is take it outside in the sun. All right, now I'm putting this in the sun, and you can even see it starting to change color. And basically you just leave it in the sun until you think that it looks like it's done changing color. You can also, I don't know if it shows up on the video, but the photo paper is a little on the splotchy side. The inkjet print also has a few stripes in it, so I have a really cruddy inkjet. Most of you probably have much better ones, but I don't really make my own prints at home. I usually either upload things and get them printed, or if it's film and black and white, I just make a print in the darkroom. Usually I've done the lumen process just under frame glass and with plant material, and that can get kind of messy, but it looks cool. What'll happen is that it traps a lot of moisture underneath the glass because of the plant material, and you'll get little bubbles on the paper as well, which looks really cool. But I kind of wanted to avoid that with this because I'm hoping to reuse this same transparency for other processes. And I'm gonna let this sit there for a little while longer and then come back to it.
So how long total?
In the sun. I don't know how well
Maybe
that's
10, 15 minutes.
It looks pretty dark. So it's probably as done as it's gonna get. And yes, these are really, really tight, and I have broken fingernails with them several times before. And there's kind of an image on the paper. So what I'm going to do now is take this over and put it in a fixer. I just used Ilford Rapid Fix, which is, I don't remember exactly which mix this is. This is used fixer anyway. And stick it in, rock it back and forth. I'm going to time it for a minute, which, since this is resin coated paper, is probably more than it really needs. And it lightens up. And a lot of what you're seeing is actually reflections, but the image is definitely there. So if you wanted to do this on your own, it's really easy. It doesn't really need a dark room. I happen to be in mine because that's where I have a nice big sink. Fixer comes as a liquid as well as a powder, and it's extremely easy to mix up. Getting rid of it is not necessarily as easy, but if you're only using very small quantities, you can reuse it many, many, many times and be able to find a place to get rid of it. I know up there, a lot of the towns do hazardous waste. And my timer's done. And I forgot to grab my tongs. So I will grab my tongs. And it's going to go into a water bath. I do not stick my fingers straight into the chemicals, although that is how we did it in college, but and now it just needs to sit in the water and wash for about 5 minutes-ish. It's not super crucial, and what I'm probably going to do with this in the end is scan it so that I have it, even if it like kind of disintegrates. If you don't fix it but take a picture of it, then you've got that. Or if you have a scanner, you can scan that, and then you don't have to worry about dealing with fixer. It's just going to stay the kind of grayish color. You sometimes, if you do this with plant material, and I'll do one of those a little bit later, you can sometimes end up with some pretty cool colors, but it's very unpredictable, and it's also dependent on the type of paper that you use, and most of what I've got doesn't seem to do that. But once this is dried, the image of the iris is still going to be visible on the paper. So I'm going to call this one a win. And you can see how easy it was to do this. And here's one that I did the same way, another lumen print, without putting it in the fixer. So I'm just going to wash it for 5 minutes, and I will show you the result in the end. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I haven't used these chemicals in a long time. I'm keeping the lights kind of low, so I hope this shows up well on the video as well. All that needs to be done to make up the chemicals to sensitize the paper, for this kit anyway, is to mix equal parts of solution A and solution B. this one happens to be B, that one's A. It doesn't matter the order because you're just going to mix them into the same container. I have cheap little measuring things that I bought a long time ago, I think. I'm not sure if these are going to work, which is why I'm also going to try to do some Van Dyke brown paper. And I have some other ideas for everybody for doing cyanotypes, because this is not the only way to do it. You can also buy pre-made paper. And for some things, the pre-made paper is easier. In other ways, it's actually more difficult. But this basically is just bucket chemistry. If you really want to, you can make all of this stuff completely from scratch on your own. It's not difficult. And I'm pretty sure that the chemicals are easy to get these days, because there are a number of noted artists who are still working with cyanotypes. And I'm using a foam brush. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. Basically, all you have to do is get the chemistry onto the paper. It is best to keep doing it in one direction unless you're looking for a more uneven result, because what you want is to get roughly the same amount in every area. And the amount that I mixed up is probably enough to do several packets of paper, which I'm not going to do. I'll do a few. I'm using watercolor paper, and I have a hunch this is not even paper you can get anymore, because I happen to have the last 2 sheets of a package that I got probably a couple decades ago, I would guess. So I always wanted to try watercolors, and I never have. But you end up with sort of a yellowish green, and I'm going to put this in a box to dry. And that box actually has the lid that I can close so that it won't be in the light while it dries, because you don't really want to do these when it's wet. I think that you can get a result, but it's not quite like cured and ready to use at that point. So at this point, I will just be coating a few more pieces of paper, and I will probably pick up this video either with the Van Dyke Brown, which is probably going to be pretty much the same process, or when I finally have a sunny day and we go out and expose these. Okay, so my cyanotype paper is all dry, and I took a few pieces and cut them because they are really big, and I don't have negatives that are that big, so they'd just go to waste if I didn't cut them up. And they don't fit in my holder here. So they're sort of an olive green-ish color, and I have my transparency there, and I'm going to put this in here just like I did with the Lumen print, and I'll do this one, and I'm also going to do a couple others. So I'll show you this in the light in a few minutes, but that one's all ready, and I'm going to get another one ready, and then I will show you how I expose them. Okay, so I have all my cyanotypes sitting out here in the sun, and I just put them out. So this is basically the color. Hopefully it'll be kind of accurate. That is how they look
when they first hit the sun. On this one right here, I am using 2 actual 4x5 negatives from really old Type 55 Polaroid. And you can kind of see it actually darkening just sitting here in the sun, which of course is now getting cloudy. And I will pick this video back up when they have darkened enough that I'll be ready to take them in. Okay, I'm checking to see if I have enough exposure to take these inside. And as you can see, there's a difference between what has gotten light and what hasn't gotten light. You can see it on the edge too, because the transparency film has a leader edge in it for going into the printer. So I'll close it back up just so that it doesn't flop open while I'm carrying it. And I will take these inside and start washing them, which is actually all you have to do to get the color to come out. It's just a water wash for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, here's the image that I've got. It may not be really dark. It's just something you kind of have to experiment with. And sometimes the timing is different for different batches. And since I just made these up and haven't really used it a lot, I don't know exactly how these are going to go. Usually in the past, it's been maybe somewhere's in the 10-minute range of exposure. And you can sort of tell, I think there's enough light, you can kind of see that it's coming up. And yes, it's uneven. I'm also adding in the ones with from the 4x5 negatives. And these you can see an image, so there's a reasonable chance of these working. I'm going to slide these so that they're back to back, and then I'll be able to take them out and look at them carefully. So basically they just have to wash in water for about 5 to 10 minutes with the stuff that you can buy paper that's already pre-treated. And those, they say 5 minutes. I've found that 10 actually works better. And if you add just a little bit of lemon juice to the wash water, they get a little bit darker. I don't know that I'll need to do that with the actual cyanotype, but we'll see. Anyway, these wash, you can see some of the, looks kind of more greenish coming off in the wash water. That's from the areas that show white. You can tell there's just a little bit. There isn't really that much that washes off. And yes, as far as I know, this is perfectly fine to go down the drain. It's not hazardous. It's in such small amounts that even though it looks like enough, it's not really going to cause any issues. So I will, once these have washed for 5 to 10 minutes, I will take them out and show you how they came out. Okay, this last one is using one of those 4x5 negatives and a product called Sun Art paper. This is a manufactured paper that's cyanotype ready, and it's made by Tedco. The cover of the envelope looks different now, but you can find this stuff on Amazon. There's also a product by a company called Jacquard that does a lot of the same sort of thing. They suggest an exposure of 1 to 5 minutes. And I'm going to use the 5 minutes because I'm using an actual negative, and I've found in the past that that works pretty well. The other chemicals that I made up, the pamphlet, which I finally found buried in a drawer, suggests 10 to 20 minutes for exposure. So it's good that I used about 10, and at least coming out of the water bath, those look pretty good. So we'll see how this one comes out too. Before I put this one into the water to wash, I just want to show that the manufactured paper gets really white where it's been exposed. So you can see that it did a pretty decent job with the 4x5 negative. And that's a 5-minute exposure. So this is a little bit faster than the paper that I made, but we'll wash it for about 5 minutes or so and see how it turned out as well. And all of these can be done using feathers or coins, leaves, twigs, whatever you want to use to try to make an image. And you can see that it's showing up.
Very cool.
Okay, so
Thank you, Beth.
sure.
Thanks.
Any questions?
Very nice, very
Thanks,
nice.
Beth. Thank you, Beth. That was really cool.
Quite impressive.
Looks like,
So much
It's
fun.
easy. It's fun. You can do all sorts of different things. And yeah, and now that I can see chat, yeah, I haven't tried grow lights, but I do have a link for some LEDs that they sell on Amazon that come as a strip, and people have used those inside like an old drawer from something. If you put them up on the inside and put it over your paper, it'll work too. And you're muted, Candy.
We just put up the grow light
Of course.
to see if it would work. So it's the one that we use for plants in the spring, and it worked great, and I didn't have to go out in the cold, and it didn't matter if it was a cloudy day.
Cool.
Is
Yeah,
it
every time I think I'm gonna try some, it ends up being not sunny enough, so.
Right. Well, it would still work, but it just takes like all day long.
Yeah,
Because it's the UV light, just it's not as strong when it's cloudy, but the grow lights work.
That was my question. It is the UV light that's going to develop it, correct?
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the UV light that makes the chemical changes in the sensitizer.
Okay, thank you.
So how long were your exposures with the grow light?
Well, I didn't time them. I would just put them under the light and then go do something. Sometimes I'd leave them there a couple hours. But it depends on how close the light is to your materials. When I started out, we had it closer, and then my husband moved it up, and it really didn't develop that well. So it needs to be maybe 6 or 8 inches away from the material that you're trying to expose.
When I've done, because I took a gum bichromate class a couple years ago, and I think 8 inches was the optimal for that. And that was with a regular a UV light box from, I don't know, Photo Formulary or somebody.
Okay. Cool.
Very,
Beth, I'd love to ask a question, but I don't know enough to ask, but it was a very interesting presentation.
Beth and Candy, I have a handheld UV light I picked up at an auction. That's available if you want to try experimenting with it. Rick Allen liked the concept, so must be good.
It's a lot of fun. It's,
Worth a try.
you never get the same thing twice.
Yeah.
True. Candy, do you mind me asking your Instagram account so I can check it out?
Oh, it's just Candace Kubenick, nothing.
How do you spell your last name?
Kubinec.
Thanks.
Mhm.
How many of you guys have Instagram accounts?
I do.
I've got one, I just don't use it.
I've got one. I don't
should have-
use
I
it
should
a
have
whole
prefaced
lot.
that. How many of you have Instagram accounts that are active that you're using?
I do.
Semi-active.
Okay.
I do.
I'll post things for a few days and then I won't post anything for a week and then but I post stuff.
All right. Well, maybe you guys can submit your accounts to me, and I can get them listed up on Reddit or something, so that people can, so that other members can grab them and go look at your stuff.
If we do it as a thread, you could make it a sticky. And then new people can just add theirs to the
Yeah, I can do
to the
that.
thread.
The bad part about Reddit is you can only have 2 stickies at a time.
Oh,
So
that kind of stinks.
that really stinks, because I would like to have like 10 stickies right now of different things, but
Yeah.
I'll figure out a way to do it. But it doesn't hurt to look at each other's stuff and support each other, as far as clicking likes and stuff like that in those places. So
Yeah. And anybody who wants to try the cyanotypes, just give me a holler and we can set up a time to make some paper, or I can make some for you and get it to you. Because those bottles I bought probably close to 20 years ago and it still works. So, and there's a fair amount left. And what I made up when I was doing the video, I think I used like 20 milliliters of each. So I don't know, I probably coated at least 15 pieces of paper that day. And I've used some, but there's a bunch just sitting there. And even though the instructions will say, use these as soon as you can, because it won't work after a while. I used some that I'd coated when I still lived in Mass, like probably, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, and they still worked. And that's 15 years. So
I usually just measure out like a bottle cap of each, because I don't do a whole lot at a time. And that coats a fair number of pieces, just that much.
What kind of paper are you actually using? I mean, any kind of paper?
You have to be able to wash it. So if it's too thin, it's going to fall apart. Watercolor paper probably works the best.
I got good results with mixed media paper too.
I just used some acrylic paper to yeah, that's good too.
This one's good because it's thick and
Yeah.
it's very smooth. That's actually one of the things I don't like as much about the pre-made paper is that it's very thin. And I haven't torn it while I was playing with it in the water, but it's, when it's sitting there drying, it's still kind of delicate. I've gotten some like kind of fringy looking corners on things. So using a good tough paper, I think, is a better way to do it. Someday I'm going to play around with coating some old photo paper so that I get both the cyanotype and the lumen effect all in one thing, but I haven't done that yet.
Cool.
I love your background, Marty.
Oh, thank you. One of the things I do.
All right.
I was on Facebook and I saw that there's this charity that is looking for donations for artwork. I'll put the link in the chat. But they're doing an auction and looking for a donation, and it's to help families with special needs children, to help pay for like housing while their child's extended days at the hospital and stuff. But I can share the link about that if you'd like, if anybody's interested.
Sure, put it up.
Yep. I probably am going to enter something to help out soon.
All right. Well, Beth, you have another hour to go. How much more do you have for us?
Hold on, if I can figure out, I'm trying to copy. And let me see if this pastes with my stupid wheel mouse thing. Aha. No, maybe not. Oh, that's right, because I can't. Is there any way to make it actually send from chat when you can't hit enter?
Cool. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't find a way to do it.
Are you putting in a link? We could
Yeah,
just,
I'm trying to put in the link for that site that's got the wet cyanotypes, because there's some really cool stuff in there, and I can't.
Can you bring the site up and just share it with us for a few minutes?
Yeah, I think so.
I was going to say, if you put the link in the chat, then anybody that wants it can just click on it and away you go.
Yeah, but I can't get it into, I can't
Oh, it won't
hit
go in.
enter from chat. I think you missed the beginning. My Bluetooth on my computer for some reason is not working.
Yeah, I came in at a little before 8. I was on another Zoom. There you go.
All right, let's pull up. I hate this mouse. I still can't hit enter though.
It's the search Google right at the end.
Okay.
Oh, that ain't gonna let you do it either.
Nope.
Oh, hang on a second. Leave that up. I'll pull it up on my computer and then share it.
Okay.
So give me a second while I go back and forth and type this in.
There's a somewhat old-fashioned way where you write it on a piece of paper and hold it up to your camera.
Need a QR code.
So it's Joe Steffen Photography.
I think so.
Okay. And I'm going to assume they have a, it looks like they have a blog. WordPress.com, how to make. Okay, I got it, Beth.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
All right. Susan, we're not normally like this. It's just some issues this evening.
It's all good.
Well, Brian, what you meant to say is the rest of us aren't like Beth.
Hey.
I don't want to scare Susan off on her first night, you know. Is that it, Beth?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, you can guide me through what you want me to do.
Just scroll down a little bit. You can see like even that first one with the peacock feather is, you can see all of the, especially the gold stuff on the edges. You don't usually get that with just a straight cyanotype, but if you do it when it's wet, you'll get cooler effects like that. So the next time that I do some, I'm going to try that.
When you say wet, wet with what?
Don't let the cyanotype paper dry.
Oh,
When
okay.
you like coat it and then do it right then.
Oh, okay.
Looks like something that we could do for a summer session in our station Saturdays.
Yeah, definitely.
That does sound like a good plan for that. Write that down.
I got it.
Those are pretty cool.
That's what the cyanotype was originally developed for. The guy, his name was Sir John Herschel, was doing botanical studies for whoever the English royalty was at the time. Not necessarily wet, but just using plant material, and just using the plant material because of the moisture in the plant, it gives you some of that same effect. That looks more like a lot more though, doing it on wet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The first book of photography that was published was actually Botanical Studies in Cyanotype, and it was by a woman.
Oh, really? What was her name?
I want to say she was related to Herschel because they were working together.
Okay, cool.
When I post some stuff from this on Reddit, I'll try to put that in because I know I found it somewhere. I think I have it in one of my little blurbs that I went from.
Interesting.
So the sienna is just made with soap and white vinegar?
The
Is that
which?
like go down just right there, stop. See where it says the wet sienna type is made with soap and white vinegar? Is that all you have to do?
I think they did the cyanotype and then they added soap and white vinegar.
Oh, okay. All right. To make it wet. Okay. Sorry, that was probably a stupid question.
No
There's
such
no
thing.
as a stupid question.
Yeah, it looks like if you look,
Okay, I see.
go
It's
back
just for
up just a
different
little
effects.
bit. It's
Yeah.
got the creating one with soap, and they've got the paper, and then they added the soap on top, and then that's what
Okay.
you got.
Yeah, so it's just for the effects. Okay.
Yeah,
It's like adding salt to watercolor. Okay,
yeah.
all right. That would be cool. Oh, yay, there's me.
I was just getting ready to say, there you go, Marty.
I love it.
Yeah, digitally manipulated cyanotype. So once you've got your image, you can still use it for all the other cool things.
Reminds me of Genuine Fractals image. Fractals?
Yeah,
Fractals look like that.
fractals are cool.
Well, there's a wet
That's
Cyanotype
cool.
on an eggshell.
That's neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my art mind has just gone like haywire now.
I did a fern quilt last summer on all the ferns that are on top of the mountain.
Oh, cool.
On green fabric. I sensitized green fabric. So you can
Oh,
use different
okay.
colored papers and fabrics to get different colored cyanotypes.
That's
Mm.
cool.
Okay, never really thought of that.
So you just put the solution on the fabric and then.
Yes.
Those are neat.
Yeah. That's cool.
All
So
right.
if anybody wants to play with cyanotypes, just let me know.
Beth, we may have to make a date.
Okay. I still have paper that I coated that day when I was
Okay.
doing it, so.
I have plenty of watercolor paper.
I did a mix and I didn't write down on the back of stuff what paper it was when I did it, which I should have, but I was just basically grabbing paper like, uh-oh, I have a lot more liquid than I thought I was gonna have, and now what can I pull out of the drawer to coat? But they still look, and in the end, I used that same iris and I did a negative and a positive. And I think this is the one that I did in the video. And in person, you can see some of the detail on that lower petal. But I think overall, this one came out better. 'Cause like I said, my printer is kind of on the side.
And then if you're doing a photogram and you're using the actual object, like I have done 4-hour exposures, 6-hour exposures, and kind of get the same effect as the wet, like you get more mottled and a lot more of the moisture of the plant goes into the becoming a part of the process. So it creates, doing the really long exposures creates a whole different vibe than the shorter exposures. So there's a whole another world out there. I did I'm working on a garden quilt now. I did all the exposures this past summer, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Beth? I did post that, the webpage that we just looked at that Beth made me type out and all that stuff because she don't know how to use a keyboard.
It
I
doesn't
posted-
work.
I posted that on the chat there, guys, for you.
Thanks.
Well, let's see, it's 15 after 8. What do you guys want to do now? I had not planned that far ahead. I thought we'd have a little bit more.
A photo critique.
You want to do a photo critique? What do you want to critique? Well,
Well, I have a question. I thought that there was going to be talk on a luminosity mask, or am I that far behind?
That was December swig.
Oh, I'm that far behind. I'm in last year. Okay.
That's okay, Red.
Well, Jim, we can do a photo critique, but when I go to our Reddit page and I filter by the word critique, there's 11 photos that we haven't looked at. So I guess we can look at those.
There you go.
Other than that, they're 2 months away, 2 months back. So I don't know. We'll look at them. If we have already looked at them, we'll skip over those. So,
Well, you can do the last month's photo contest photos as well, Brian.
you know, I was kind of thinking that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take Margie's.
Well, she usually goes for the critique ones first.
Okay, well, let's do. Let me switch this back to. Let's do last month's photo critique, or last month's photo contest. We'll look at those. So let me share my screen again. Okay, you guys see the Reddit screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So when I do that this way, hold on, let me try something. Because when I do it this way, then I can't see you guys at all. It covers all that up, and I don't know why. Never mind, I don't know where you went.
Don't need this.
Okay, I got Jins now. I found Jins. Okay. I use 2 different screens, so when I'm using 2 screens, I lose people all the time and lose stuff. All right, so Susan, I don't know that I mentioned Reddit. I know it might have been in the welcome email.
Yeah.
But we have a Reddit page, which you're actually seeing right now, that is private to just us. So you can post stuff on there and ask questions and all that kind of stuff. And it's not available for anyone to look at other than Westmoreland photographers. So if you have a Reddit account and you would like to be able to get to this, or if you don't, make a Reddit account so that you can get to this. And all you have to do is send me your username for Reddit, and I will add you into it so you can get in here and take a look at this. But one of the things that we do with Reddit is we do a monthly photographer's choice contest, and your winning picture gets to go in our newsletter, and you get bragging rights for a whole month that you won last month. So but it's every month, and it's a photographer's choice, so there's no subject, there's no set, it has to be this or it has to be that. We used to do that, it didn't work out too well, so now we do it as a photographer's choice, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. We're going to look at the December pictures that were in here from the photographer's choice for December of last year. So if you want to get in on Reddit, let me know, and give me your username and I'll get you in there.
Thank you.
And Ryan, just to add, I'm not sure you mentioned it or not, the only rule in this is that the photo or image needs to be taken that month. Not.
Oh, that's right. I did not mention that. So yes, it also is designed to promote you to go out and take pictures. So if you want to be involved with it, you have to have at least taken a picture that month. which is a good idea. We try to get everyone out every month to take some pictures. And I see I have to update the upcoming events. I'll do that after your meeting. So let's take a look at this first picture. This is by Arts or
Alan.
Alan's not on tonight. Alan sent me an email. He'll be in and out this year, not as much as he would like to be, and I'll leave it at that. But anyhow, this is, Beth, you're going to tell me where this is, I'm sure.
I haven't been to this one.
Oh,
But I know where it is, but I haven't been there. This is Bruner Run at Ohio Pile,
okay.
which is Bruner Road goes down to the takeout below all of the kayaking stuff. And there's a run right near there. You can only drive down that road part of the year.
Cool. That sounds like a challenge.
You have the truck that can do it. I think I went down it once in our escape and said, I'm really glad I didn't bring the Mustang.
Okay.
It would not have been Mustang friendly.
Maybe we
Okay.
could do it with the Jeep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a Jeep type road. It's really steep in some parts.
Cool.
Sounds like a challenge, Marty.
Yep.
I know, right?
All right. So I know Alan is not here, but let's talk about this picture anyhow. I like this picture. So as Margie would say, let's critique it. But remember, the critique, we should talk about what we like, not only what we don't like. So who would like to say something?
I like the composition.
Mhm. I like the viewpoint. I like that it's looking up at it. But there's still stuff in the foreground that's interesting, but not super distracting.
Yes.
We don't have our resident black and white digital guy here. We have our black and white film lady here, but we don't have our black and white digital guy here. But I can say by looking at this, at least on my screen, it looks pretty well exposed. I see a lot of detail in shadows. I see a lot, and the whites don't look. I mean, there's a little bit of blown out here and there, but it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Which I like to see.
Looks like a
Okay.
nice cloudy day.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, you mentioned the black and white. It was probably a good choice for the time of year. I imagine the shrubbery and whatnot are pretty dull looking in December. And so putting it in black and white, it's not distracting like it might have been if it was in a color.
Well, the issue with this picture as far as color goes is that everything on the left above the falls there, going up through there, is going to be a real dark green because that's all mountain laurel. And everything on the right, I should say, is brown
Mhm.
because it's all dead leaves. So, and that often is the issue in Ohio Powell, is that especially after fall, is that you have dark green from mountain laurel and no other color at all. So black and white usually works out pretty good this time of year. Me personally, I would like to see a little bit more of this log at the bottom of the picture because it's the way it's cut off. I kind of want to know why it's cut off.
Brian, who is the resident black and white guru?
Dennis Yates.
Thank you.
If Dennis shoots 1,000 pictures in a year, 999 and a half of them are black and white. So it's the rarity to see something in color from Dennis.
I have to talk about him about that half shot process.
Any other comments?
Is John Wacklow on? John?
John dropped
Is he
off. I
still
don't
here?
see him now.
Oh, okay, good. He studied under Ansel Adams. So
Yes.
what made me jog my mind also that one of the things that Adams looked for to put in his images were where the whitest white and the darkest dark appear. And in this one, I see a number of cases where there is a bright white against a darkest dark. And the purpose of it being is that it creates the contrast.
Right.
And I see it here on the left and right edges. Another thing is if you had where the white band is at the bottom and you could see more of it, one of the things someone might say is, well, maybe if we crop that off, it'll look better. So I think that this is where we would end up.
Yeah, it's a good possibility that we would want to see it cropped the way it is now, but I still would like to see what's down there just to make a decision if I would want it there or not, me personally, that's all.
Yeah. Let's see, what was the other thing I was thinking of? This is the format. Some of the first thing that was mentioned was composition. And I was thinking that this is a case where an extra panoramic look actually is merited, because look at the grace of the falls actually is enhanced by this kind of a composition, by this kind of a pano format.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was all around top-notch image. I just don't see anything that I find negative. I'm seeing all shades of contrast. If you look in the middle at the top, there's the very softest shades, and then it gets stronger, and then the very strongest is at the lower third, just where the last tier of the falls meets the pool of water, and that's the darkest and the widest. I think it's a great shot.
Yep.
It's well thought out. It's a well thought out photograph.
Yep. All right. Any other comments? Let me close that and we'll go on to another picture. This is Carolyn. She's on tonight, but I haven't heard her tonight. Oh, that's too big. Okay.
I think it's a cool barn. I really like how the trees are growing through it. It looks, they probably are. And that really helps with the sky.
I'm on, Brian.
I said you were on. I just hadn't heard you yet tonight.
No, but I couldn't figure out how to get the mute off.
Oh, okay. Because it's very rare that you're anywhere no one hears you.
Enough.
You know I love you.
I know you do. We're going on 25 years.
I know. So I agree, Beth. I think this is a really cool barn. It's got a lot of character, but I would really like to see this in black and white.
Mm.
You always want to see my pictures in black and white. I did the other one in black and white, by the way, but I can try this one in black and white.
I would give it a try. I think black and white with with a little bit of contrast to it, and you're going to have a really cool image.
Mm-hmm. I think black and white will help a lot with the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that.
I haven't stopped looking at that sign since I opened the picture.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it
bright.
says.
It's a
Pennsylvania.
no hunting sign is what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I believe. Oh, and it's got the purple
it's-
paint on there too.
Yeah, it's got the purple paint, which is a Pennsylvania. They just took that into effect this year, I believe, or
Okay.
last year. But that's a closed to motor vehicle sign is what it is. You're not allowed to drive on it, which means it's probably a safety zone of some sort for hunting. But I think the barn is really cool. It's got a lot of nice character, but I really think black and white would enhance this picture a lot.
I think so.
I'll try it.
You could
Anybody
try
else?
cloning out the sign too.
Yeah, that would be my next. Well, that might have been my first thing, was just to get rid of the sign altogether.
I'm
There's
not
enough-
skilled enough to do that step yet.
Okay, so make it black and white.
I'll talk to Marge. She can help me get the sign off.
There you go.
But
Anything
yeah,
else?
that's very near my house in Slippery Rock, and I love that area up there. Lots of old barns and stuff.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll try it in black and white. Oh.
I'm not sure what am I looking at, a fish tank, or am I looking at a window? What am I looking at?
It's a fish tank.
Okay.
It's Fishmas.
What's that?
Even
And it's
even
not
the
even
fish
April.
have Christmas.
I thought it would be better if I could get something on the back of the tank to blank out the lights and stuff in the back.
Let me ask a question.
Because
Is
you can
that
see
little,
right through the tank to that.
yeah,
Yep.
is that fella called a plecostomus?
I don't know, but he cleans the glass on the tank.
It is.
Yeah,
is.
it's plecostomus, yeah.
Is he sucking on the glass?
Yeah, I think, or his tongue is doing it, one or the other.
Yes, he does. That's the whole mouth. They keep it clean.
So Carolyn, what I'd like to know is the Christmas tree still up or have you taken it down?
It's my son-in-law's fish tank. I haven't seen it since this time.
All right.
It was just an experiment trying to take pictures in a fish tank, and I like the fish, and it seemed seasonal with the tree and everything.
Are those
think
red
it's-
dots? Are they? Is he spawning?
Is he spawning?
Yeah.
No.
Are those eggs?
What, the red?
Yeah.
No, that's Christmas tree lights being reflected in the tank
Oh,
or
I thought-
behind the tank. I
thought
believe
maybe-
that's, yeah.
Go ahead. I thought maybe they were salmon eggs.
There weren't any salmon in the tank. But yeah, that was the problem I had, is getting trying to figure out how to do it without all the reflection.
Good job.
Hey guys, what do you think?
thought they were parked.
That picture was taken in the school bus's actual mirror. I was we were sitting in the road and I could see this image in their mirror. Kind of more, goofy shots.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Was this the bus behind you?
It was somewhat in front of us. I think we were maybe almost just a little ahead of the back of it.
Okay, I see.
And I could
Yeah,
draw their mirror in and get that image.
So Rex, if you kind of look to the other side, you'll see the mirror, how it sticks out
Yeah, I do.
in the reflection. So that's what this is. This is that mirror only on the other side of the bus. And a reflection from the mirror back towards the bus. That's actually a pretty cool.
That is.
Yeah,
That's
it was a good catch to see that and take it.
clever.
I like the distortion in it.
Mm-hmm. I just thought it was interesting.
It is.
Yep.
I have to do a lot of my photography. I've had to do a lot of it in the car this last month, so, you know.
I like how the arm of the mirror from the bottom right-hand corner goes up to the back of the mirror, and it looks like it actually extends into the mirror itself.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, they line up really well together.
Yeah.
What's the gray? Is that a truck or a trailer with the gray with the rivets? And is that in front of or back of what?
What was in front of the bus is what he's asking. What's this part here?
I couldn't see.
Almost looks like the back of a tractor trailer, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The door.
What
back
reflected
door.
in the bus? Or wait, there's
behind,
No, it would have been in
behind
front
the
of the
mirror.
bus at that time. Yeah.
oh, behind the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another vehicle of some kind.
Yeah.
I couldn't control the traffic.
Oh,
Very interesting. Good
Thank you.
good eye to catch that one.
Thank you.
this is our winner.
This was the winner of the
Yes.
December contest. Okay.
Congratulations, Bob.
Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob, I do, however, have to remind you once again, you cast your vote like 7 days after the.
No, I didn't. Did I?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it? How many days do you have? Three?
Three.
4?
First 3 days.
First 3 days. Oh,
You
okay.
weren't even close, Bob.
That's
like
day
up to
7.
years,
I'm gonna
Bob.
get better. That's my New Year's resolution.
You better put it as an alarm on your phone.
Was this the night of the Christmas party, Bob?
It was, and it was done. You know what? I was in my car, and I didn't have my camera was in the back seat. I said, oh heck, and I kept my car running, and I didn't want to delay the traffic, so I just used my iPhone to take a picture.
Well, how come you didn't submit it for the photo contest for the Christmas party?
Well, you know how I'm late 7 days and all that. That's the same reason why I didn't put it for the photo contest.
Hey, Bob, I'm glad I have company.
You know what? You get critique for timing. I mean, for days and all that, you know? Yeah, it was done on the Christmas night. But thank you.
It's a beautiful sky. I love
Yeah.
the sky.
So now Susan understands when we're going to be critiqued, what she's ready for.
Yeah, just make sure you hand your photos on time. And
You're gonna get hammered.
yeah, you're gonna get hammered. I mean, you know, but all in fun, all in good jest.
Well, Bob, I'm gonna actually talk about the photo now.
Okay.
I like the sky, and I like the fact that you took it with your cell phone out the window of the car.
No, I was outside. I
okay.
did take my body outside.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you still took it with your cell phone, which is cool.
Right.
It could, in my opinion, could use just a little bit of contrast.
Okay.
Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And also, it might be just me, but I think it's slanted a little bit to the left. And you know how we are about things slanting.
Yep.
Is it me or is it you guys? You guys see it too?
Just tilt your monitor a little bit.
Well, I've been sitting here with my head tilted and that fixes it, but
That might be the problem.
well, maybe I'm going to tilt my head the other way. I don't know. No, it's a cool shot. It's a nice catch with your cell phone, and it goes to show that we always have a camera in our hand. We just need to use it.
Right.
We need to think to use it.
Yeah, the church steeple is leaning a little bit there.
I like that he took it from this perspective, because usually we see the perspective of going down so you can look up the steps to the cathedral, but I mean to the pavilion thingy, whatever it's called.
To the gazebo.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I like this perspective, because you don't see many of these perspectives. Like you always see photos of it going up to the steps. So I like this where the church steeples in the background.
Yep.
Bob, I don't know if you waited for the moment or not, but it's nice that you got the couple in there. It's enjoying the evening.
Right. That was just simply luck, you know, just being there.
Yep.
Pretty cool, Bob.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for the cookies and the milk. They were good. Thank you for the carrots too. Love Santa.
This was captured with my cell phone and then edited with one of the editing things on the phone. I thought, well, it's, you know, the month is almost over and I haven't really participated a whole lot. So I better get something in before the year ends. So,
Who ate the cookies?
Santa.
Santa? Okay.
Santa and Mrs. Claus must have munched on them a little.
Okay.
A little.
And Rudolph. Someone ate the carrots. That was Rudolph.
That's true. Oh, good point. Good.
I think there was a bunny rabbit. Maybe he munched on a couple of those.
So it's just it's a cell phone shot. Did you light it any particular way, or was it just the way it was on the table, or?
Can't remember. I did light it. Let me think how I did it. I think I used a flashlight.
Okay.
I like the shadows.
Just
Yeah,
like a little LED flashlight.
That's what I was looking at. It kind of looked like it was side lit a little bit to me from the left side. Yeah, left side.
Well, because we are renovating, my husband's sleeping in that area. So I didn't want to flip on the lights to take the picture.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of an afterthought. So I thought, well, I'll just get the flashlight.
Cool. Anybody else?
Nope.
Okay.
I just think it's cute.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything great.
Jim, how many bids did you put in on the house?
I've got it.
Did you?
Yeah.
$2?
I
$2?
couldn't resist. So that house, and for whatever reason, I've driven by it, God knows how many hundreds of times since I've lived in Pittsburgh, but never noticed it. It's along Donahue Road, going from
Okay.
I'll call it from the Best Buy area, if you will.
Yeah.
Heading out towards the Twin Lakes
Right,
area.
right by the world of values.
Right past that. That's correct.
Yep, on the right hand side.
I think
And
it's.
I will tell you that under ordinary circumstances, I probably would have been a little bit further away from it and get some views of the right and left side. Unfortunately, this is in the middle of other development. So I intentionally used the tree to cut off whatever municipal building was over on the left side of it. And over on the right side in the background, there were some buildings or homes or something as well. So it's a little tighter crop than what I would have preferred, but I was kind of forced to crop it. So.
I think it works
Yeah.
because the trees frame the picture.
Yeah, because it has the private property, no trespassing sign and for sale.
Yeah.
So kind of lets you know what's going on with the house itself.
Yeah. Tells the whole story.
I would even crop the left just a little bit more because there's that one little spot of white.
Beth, I know what you're saying, and
Yep,
I
right there.
actually considered it, and I didn't want the for sale sign to be right at the edge of the photo.
Yeah.
So I didn't crop it. I even at some point thought about cloning some tree bark, if you will, into that space.
Oh, yeah.
But so I recognize that as a shortcoming. I just didn't bother with it.
Yeah.
It was good in black and white, Jim.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the sky definitely wasn't worthwhile having in color, that's for certain. And I think anytime you have something run down like this, it's just better in black and white.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yep. I like the broken window in the top.
Mhm.
I like the chimney.
Yep.
You'd have to zoom in to see, but at the front right-hand corner of the building there, fortunately, the electrical has been disconnected, the gas was disconnected, the water's disconnected. So I don't know how long it's been vacant, but it's been a while.
Yeah, that place has been vacant for years.
Surprisingly though, Brian, if you zoom out, what I think I did play with, is that pile of wood at the bottom of the tree. That was someone, apparently some branches fell not too long ago, and that was cut up recently. I actually darkened the edge of, actually I think I cloned the one log there. You could see like the bright fresh cut, if you will, of the saw blade. That one I didn't play with, but one of the other ones there I actually did some cloning at the edge, at the end.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. Other than that spot right there. I know it's a leaf on a tree, but that bothers me. Sorry.
Oh, come on, Brian. Give me a break.
Come on, Jim. You know I got to find at least one thing. Do you guys see it? It looks like a dirt spot on your lens.
I'm not the only one that zoomed in on that.
Well, if he takes that one out, there's another one right to the.
One there, and there's one
yeah,
there.
right there, right over there. And there's another one over here to the left.
Yeah, you guys know
this group's getting tougher all the time.
Yep. Come on, Brian always sees those little things.
Yep. I like it though. It's a good shot.
Because you don't really see a branch attached to it. I mean, it's a real thin.
Yeah. It just kind of looks like it's floating there.
Yep.
It's kind of
I have
missing a little roof in the
I have
rear.
an idea for a whole new contest we can have, and that is, guess what Brian's going to say?
Right.
Brian's gonna say, look at the edges and look at all the little spots.
All right, this is a Beth shot.
How could you tell?
I like all your little snowflake photos.
Little snowflakes in the background. She was playing.
Yep. I used that bokeh wall thing with the aluminum foil. And the creative bokeh optic on one of my lens babies.
Oh,
So
cool.
I had made a snowflake shape for it. So there you go.
Like you need some oil. Yeah.
Oh,
Let our little articles work.
Very intricate snowflake.
It's a stamp, like a punch thing from
Don't tell
scrapbooking.
us. Don't tell us like that.
No, you're supposed to tell us you hand cut that.
I tried hand cutting a lightning bolt and it looks like crap.
She's like, I need one of those stamps.
Yep.
Call Annie at Michael's and see if they got one.
I also like how your snowflake bokeh is similar to one of your snowflakes on your bulb. So it kind of pulls it together.
Yeah.
And the coloring's about the same too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Beth, I don't know why this bothers me, to be honest with you, but I don't know what color I would suggest, but the green bowl bothers me.
Yeah. It's not Christmassy enough.
It just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a gold bowl or a blue bowl, or even a red one would probably tie together better.
Yeah.
What
with
happened to
Gold
the,
would
what's in the
work.
picture. Yeah.
the focus on the blue ball? Was that intentional? It seems to be closer than the other balls, which are in much sharper focus.
That's called a lens baby.
It's Lens Baby, and it's the
Oh, okay.
composer, and I want to say that the gold one is probably what's kind of sharpest ish,
Yeah.
but it gets fuzzier towards the outside anyway, but I think I had it kind of centered. I wasn't moving the sweet spot.
Yeah, it looks to me like the gold one in the center is your most in focus one.
Yeah.
So, and then your focus with the lens baby falls away to the outside edges.
This was probably at like F4-ish.
What are you doing?
Okay. All
It's
right,
nice, Beth. Very Christmassy.
Any other comments?
A little tilted. Might be a little tilted.
Yeah, might
Your
be.
blue looks like it's down a little bit on the right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I tried to straighten it, but I couldn't. Because it's so fuzzy, I couldn't really see the edge of the bowl.
All right. Let's see. Let's get another one. That's RT's not here. Beth's here. Let's look at that one.
See, that one's got more in focus.
I like this. I voted.
It's Lens Baby too, but a different one.
Yeah.
This is one of the velvets.
I like all the detail in the dead. Gonna call them leaves, or that was a flower.
It's probably petals, but I don't know what it actually was. No. With
Yeah,
where
but
it's
I
growing, I
like
don't remember there being flowers there, so.
Yeah, I like the curl, all the little curlies on those,
Yeah.
and then the spider web in there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay, guys. In Rex's new contest, what's Brian going to say?
Bottom right corner.
Right.
Lower right.
In the
Yep.
bottom right.
Bottom right doesn't like the color. Distracting.
Yeah, I
Open
keep
it up
looking
a
at that,
little bit.
looking at that, because I really like the detail in this picture, and I really like the composition. I really hate that thing in the bottom right corner.
Mhm.
Yep, that's what Brian's gonna say.
my input, I think it's soft enough. I think it's soft enough that it, to me, it's not that distracting. I think it kind of supports the background.
Well, I don't disagree, but what bothers me is that as I look at this picture, of course, your eye goes down the stem right to that.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me, because when I get down to the bottom of the stem and then I'm looking at that, trying to figure out what that is. Me
And your
personally.
eye kind of goes back and forth
Yeah,
between
I'm
the
back
two
and forth,
things.
up and down, up and down. And I keep coming back down to that thing, trying to figure out what it is. I know it's probably, another piece of this plant that's dead, but I would like to not necessarily get rid of it, just make it a little darker.
Mhm.
Or maybe just a hair of a vignette around the corners would kind of get rid of that a little bit, or take the emphasis off of it without getting rid of it. Because like Rex said, it kind of
gradient.
ties the background in, but it's just a little bit too bright for me, is how I look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe
But I
just
love
vignette.
I love the detail of this thing,
Mhm.
sharpness of it. And like Annie was saying, just how sharp, the sharpness here in that spot right there
Yeah.
is really nice. That plane of focus right there is really cool.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a lattice work shape.
Yeah.
So
I just keep coming
lace.
back down to this down here. If this was just a little darker,
Yeah,
I think it would help the image as a whole.
just an angle gradient in that corner.
Yeah. Yeah, even
Yeah.
that, exactly.
Yeah, and just feather it up.
Yep. Feather a gradient in from the bottom and just kind of drop the exposure just a wee little bit. And it don't need much, just a half a notch, really, would
Yeah.
probably fix it.
Yep.
I like the lace
I love
work.
the picture. Very cool. Any other
Thank you.
comments?
I like the idea of finding it, of finding that particular thing that probably 100 people would walk by, that they wouldn't see it, but looking at it closely, looking at that lace, it's like a lace of work with the whatever that is called on top, the pistil, or what it would be of a flower. But the lace work itself is unique to see, to find.
It's about this big, about the size of your eye, probably.
No, very nice. All right. I guess we can take a quick look at this. As I said, Alan's not here, but that is definitely getting a puppy kiss.
Yep. Look at that tongue.
And I'm willing to bet that's probably a trainer of some sort with some sort of service dog, I would guess.
Well, yeah, it says Canine Storm on
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
the
it was,
collar.
it was those people that will send the dogs out to find people.
Okay.
And they were doing some extra training in the woods because he was helping them out by hiding and doing stuff like that. And that was one of the dogs that was working.
Okay.
So it's a working dog.
I have that exact same thing on my keychain. That brass thing right there. I use that for a keychain.
Search and rescue training.
Yeah.
Good sharp picture.
Nice composition. It works.
Yep.
Caught the moment,
Yep.
the
I think you
decisive
could
moment.
prop the left a little.
Into about here.
Yeah, because
Take
the
these-
white
take
stickers
these
on
white
them.
spots out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, stickers on the car.
Yeah, they don't really help with the picture. They kind of distract you from it. So, you know what my role is. If they don't belong there, get rid of it. Nice stuff.
A nice angle right across the back up and through, actually the top of her head there. Her forehead.
Yeah. Yeah, everything kind of lines up good.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think that was all of them. We got through them all. Very cool. And I think that brings us just about time to finish up. Let me stop my share here. Okay. Well, Susan, we didn't scare you off, did we? No,
You're still
you're
muted.
muted, but I could read your lips there. You said no.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
How's it-
Well, I hope you enjoyed the meeting. I hope to see you back for the meetings that are coming up and our outings and stuff like that. We look forward to actually meeting you in person too. So,
Good.
all right. If so, our next thing is going to be
The outing.
is it the outing next or swing outing?
That's
The
the
outing.
outing.
The 22nd.
Outing on the 22nd. Yep. All right. So for that, we normally will meet at, I'll just say now, we'll meet at the Adams Falls parking area. There at the bottom. Don't drive up in like where our picnic was. We'll meet right at the Adams Falls parking area at the bottom. The gate's probably closed to go up in where the picnic was anyhow. So
Yeah.
I'll put some times up and stuff like that here when we get a little closer to the date. I'll send out an email with that information in it.
How late do you think that's gonna last, Brian?
What's that? The walk?
Yeah.
It depends on how freaking cold it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm driving
mean-
to Buffalo on Sunday, so yeah, I appreciate you looking out for the cold.
Yeah, I mean, if we go up there and it's a normal 10-year ago January day and it's 10 below zero and it's snowing, there's a good chance we're not going to be there real long.
Yeah.
But if we go up there and it's 50 degrees out, there's a good chance we'll be there half the day. It's just really hard to say as far
You
as that
Can leave
goes.
anytime.
You think it would wrap up like noonish?
Well, you can come and go as you please. It don't really matter. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, typically we start around between 9 and 10 o'clock. So it'll probably be more of a 10 o'clock. And then, depending on the weather, a couple 3 hours. But, if it's really cold, we won't stay very long. I'm not going to make anyone stand out in the cold very long. I mean, other than Margie, we have to tie her to a tree and let her stay out in the cold for a little while.
Oh, Brian, that's not nice. That's not nice, Brian.
Brian, no.
Yeah.
Margie, Susan, Margie, you didn't get to meet Margie, but Margie thinks it's cold in August when it's 110 degrees out.
Yep.
So we
And she's
kind of
from
make fun of
Texas.
her being cold all the time.
Yep.
She's from Texas. So
Yeah.
she thinks everything up here is cold.
Watch it, buddy.
Mhm. Hey, Carolyn, speaking of Margie, she said to leave her cookie tray on her porch.
Oh, I have to do that. Okay.
Yeah, for right now.
Oh, is she out of town?
No, she's just
Okay.
not, she's under the weather a little.
Okay, that's fine.
But she just said to leave it on her porch.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. Well, it's a little bit after 9, so I think unless anyone else has anything last minute they want to say, I will see as many of you, hopefully all of you at the outing. And
I will feed you.
otherwise, we'll see you at the next meeting as well. All
Happy
right.
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Good
everyone.
night.
Happy New Year,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
everyone.
Marty,
Bye.
hang on a
Hey,
second.
Carl,
Oh,
Right.
I'll answer your email with dates and all the information that you need for that.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, where'd you go? Marty, you gotta tell me about your back. It's got snow on it.
Yeah, it's actually my magnolia tree in my yard, and it had snow, and then I did some kaleidoscoping with it.
You crawled under it and shot straight up?
I'm sorry?
You do crawl under it and shoot straight up?
Yes.
I love the branches.
Well, I shot straight up, and then I do my processing. I did a kaleidoscope when I processed.
Ah, okay. Something was playing with my eye there. Very nicely done.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
So I'm probably the one that's known for that in the club.
Okay, I'm probably the furthest away from the artist that you're gonna find in this bunch.
I know.
I take
All right.
pictures of what I see.
Brian, my deepest sympathies.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
rough. Okay, later,
All
kiddies.
right. Thank you and
Just
good
let
night.
me know about those classes so I can get them in the.
That's what I just told Carl. I'm going to
Okay.
enter his email with the dates and stuff that he needs so he can get to the church and
Okay.
get
Sounds
it to
good.
the church and make sure everything's good to go for that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
All
later.
right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.